full on spoiler alert right here. All right, so what? What? Okay, it's hard to even just wrap my mind around everything.
Right.
I mean, my head was hurting after this movie. It
Really.
was after Infinity War too.
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah.
there's so much going on, not in a bad way. But
Yeah.
what did you think of this?
Can I just say one of the most like somber moments, sad, happy, and confused, was when Thor chops off Thanos' head. It's like, wow, I guess he's really done. He did what he
Yeah,
needed to do, and that's it.
yeah, and it was kind of confusing, like you said, because I'm thinking, is this the real Thanos?
I had no doubt that it was, and he had set out and done his mission. That was it. To balance
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's right.
universe.
But I was
He
also
can die
having,
happy.
yeah, but I was also having multiple conflicting thoughts.
Like
Like,
what?
is this the real Thanos? Is he just, giving them some type of illusion? Is he? Because they said that they said that he used the stones like 2 days after, or something like
Right.
that. That's how they
I
were able
think
to track where he
in
was.
thinking about that line, I think that he used the stones again. In the trailers, they set that up as if he used it like a third time, but his second time using it was creating that world, and that was just it. They made it seem like there was something else that happened outside of that, but I believe that's what they were referring to. The trailers kind of tricked you into thinking he had done something else too.
Can you guarantee that that means that? I mean, that's
Well,
still.
yeah, I was thinking if you think about it, you think about it. It was Black Widow who said it. You think about it from her perspective. She doesn't know that he went to this, planet like we did at the end of Infinity War in the post-credit scene. So it's the first time that she's seeing that something happened after the snap, which would be the second time.
Because there's also another part in here later on in the movie where the past Loki, he actually escapes.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I was thinking about what the conversation the Ancient One had with Bruce Banner, saying, if you take one out, it creates an alternate thing. But if you put it back before it was ever moved, then it goes back, where it's supposed to be. So I'm thinking they would have had to have gone back prior to Loki disappearing with the Tesseract for that to not be an issue. Otherwise, it's a huge plot hole. But I think that's how you justify that.
What about with Captain America going back and then living his life?
Yeah, that's also very interesting. Because they kind of, in the beginning, I guess they kind of set the rules for themselves. That joke saying everything about time travels from Back to the Future, where the butterfly effect, with their definitions, doesn't really apply. You don't change one thing and everything else has changed. If you go back and set these stones back where they were, apparently you don't disrupt anything, and you can still somehow live in that timeline without changing everyone's history. You just quantum realm it out.
But
It all works itself out.
I guess, but can't he? Wouldn't he mess up the timeline living his life? Like, because the original timeline, he was frozen in ice.
Right.
That
That's what I was thinking. Doesn't that change things? And perhaps it does, because Falcon said, "Well, now I have to live in a world without Captain America," and I was thinking that means going forward he can live without Captain America, but perhaps that means Captain America only exists in the memories of those who knew what was going on, but through the future that was now created, Captain America never was. The ice thing never happened. He lived his life as that.
did he live his life as a regular soldier, or as Captain America, as a super soldier, and got old?
Well, he would have still been a super soldier if you saw. I mean, when he was dancing with I forget her name,
Peggy
but
Carter.
when he was dancing with Peggy Carter, he was still 6'2", a buffer guy. So that would have still happened for him to look like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, whenever you introduce time travel, it really does put in a lot of confusing stuff where you're just going to ask questions here and there. And I feel like in this movie, you can kind of nitpick more than you could in other Marvel movies. That's why
I wanted to, but they kept trying to answer the questions during the movie. With the Ancient One, with Tony explaining how time travel works, and then with Scott in the quantum realm, how that all works. And even when Bruce Banner was sent, they said time was going through Ant-Man and he wasn't going through time itself. So they were kind of like trying to explain it and make it almost more confusing, so you wouldn't be able to ask questions. That's what I gathered. Let's just make up all these rules so you don't know what to question. But to me, time travel was almost the least interesting part of the movie. I did get a kick out of seeing the Ancient One in it, defending, the Sanctum Sanctorum from the invaders. It's like, oh, look at that. She was there. Look at that.
Yeah, I really like that. There was also a lot of callbacks that they had. They went back to the first Avengers movie. You saw it from a different perspective. They didn't show this in the first movie, in the Avengers movie, but you see the people from Hydra, they take, what is it, the Tesseract?
The Mind Stone. No.
Or was it both?
It was both. I think it's both.
Okay. Yeah, and then Ant-Man's pointing out that, how did y'all not know that they were evil? They look evil.
Right.
And then there's another part where you see Captain America in the elevator, just like he was in Winter Soldier. And then this is something that extends from the comic books, because at the time, I think it was Civil War, where he was Hydra agent. And
Civil War 2. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there was a lot of Easter eggs and callbacks that just really was satisfying.
Yeah, and they changed things and were still able to fit them in to make it fun.
Who is your main star of this movie?
Oh gosh,
the main star. Doctor Strange.
You could argue that Doctor Strange is the best part of this movie too. He brought it back.
Come on. He wasn't in that much of the movie.
Without him, there'd been no army. But no. So my favorite is actually, I have to kind of bite my tongue a little bit and give the most valuable player to Captain America. I have to do it. I don't like it when he picked up that hammer. When he lifted it through it and caught it.
But they summoned thunder. They hinted at it in Age of Ultron when he slightly moved it.
Even better. That's why it's better. So much growth has happened for this character.
Yeah, see, the movie that I was in, the people just went wild and started clapping or whatever. But
and the way they did it, just just showing the hammer lift. Thor looking back like, who is doing this? I was like, I know it. Oh my god, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Did you have to take your glasses off?
Almost shed a tear. I said, he's definitely gonna die or something now, because this is the pinnacle of his story arc. But
but you know how you got mad about him getting punched by Thanos and he should have died or whatever. Which
which he should have.
That's a pretty good point.
Let's not get confused.
But I think they really made it, I wouldn't say more realistic, but they made it more plausible, thinking that he could go up against Thanos at this time.
Yes.
And it was funny how Thor was like, no, you're not going to take both of these. Give me the big one.
Yeah, you get the little one. But you know what? Okay, now he was the most valuable player. But I was actually really proud of Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Only because because honestly, you could tell that it was filmed before Captain Marvel, because she didn't say much. She didn't have much personality, But I think they used her very tastefully, and they did a good job of saying, because she could have obviously beaten him by herself, but that quick little thing with the Power Stone knocking her off her feet, they did a good job answering that question too, because for the second time around, the most powerful character in the universe still can't beat this guy. Like, what's going on? Well, she attempted, and that was really good.
Well, let me just say, there was a few convenient parts in here, with her just showing up and getting their ship right at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
And then the rat going across Ant-Man's little van thing.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way this is going to be the thing that makes it happen. It just has to be a coincidence. But I guess it was.
Well, I think from this point on, everything is not complex when it comes to, how did this happen? Because with Nick Fury with his eye, a lot of people got upset about that because he got
Hmm.
scratched by a cat. So I think this point forward, there's gonna be some silly things, and you're just gonna have to accept it.
Well, I mean, it's somewhat silly, but I would say it's still complex because remember, Doctor Strange saw 14 billion different alternate versions of this, which means one of them included this rat crawling over this control box. So it was all planned out.
That's a splinter.
Very it's a splitter, yeah. Yeah, it was very, very interesting. I mean, whenever he saw his daughter again, that was sad. She had grown up.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
She grew up really fast.
Yeah,
5 years.
There's a lot, I guess. The growth. I mean, just all the characters. Hawkeye, his.
Oh, I love
him and Black Widow. I was like, what?
I really like I like Black Widow too, but Hawkeye, I really like his character. Like, I want to see more of that ruthless character that we saw in the beginning after he lost his family.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Could have been a whole other movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people won't realize that how much you're gonna miss this character, like for what he did for Iron Man, just Marvel in general. I think he's gonna be really missed as this character.
I knowing the comics and knowing this franchise, he'll be gone, but won't be forgotten because of things like the way he did his own eulogy or his message at the funeral recorded. I think that's going to come to play in the future, kind of like archives of Tony Stark's mind. There's a new comic, a fairly recent comic, where he transfers his consciousness into the suit and it finds a new host. I don't think they'll do that with it's Ironheart. I don't think they're going to do that, but I could see them playing off of that idea.
So this whole time travel thing, this makes it where some people, well, it kind of changed some things as far as Gamora. She's never been a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, she's missing 5 years of her life.
Yeah, and I like at the end how Thor is going to be a part of them. Well, it looks like it.
Right, he could be.
But I like that they're going to have Valkyrie as the new. I guess,
that's a complete new thing.
Yeah, Queen of Asgard.
Being in the comics and all, but that's interesting.
I already wanted to see her own movie, so hopefully we can get that. Or just go back to that part where she was her Valkyrie's sisters or whatever. They were fighting Hela. That scene right there.
Yeah, where's that movie?
Okay. Well, for me, the movie was great. But I still feel like I enjoyed Infinity War better just looking at it for right now. I think I really need a second viewing to really enjoy it as much as possible. I had said before that 8 out of 10, but it's rising. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. 9 out of 10.
Move to a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I would rate it at a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Solid. Because I don't think it stands on its own. It depends heavily on Infinity War, which it should. It's just the way it works. So it can never be like a standalone movie. And I think it's just because the roster is so big with characters, there's so much that, like, there could be alternate versions of this movie because there's just so many moving parts.
Yeah.
It's like for a second, like, characters just disappear because what are they doing? It doesn't matter. There's too much going on.
You would have like a 10-hour movie.
Right. And then I'm thinking about like people who showed back up and it's like Black Panther, M'Baku, Scarlet Witch, even Okoye to a certain extent. Like, they showed up for set for like 2 seconds of the movie.
They probably filmed more parts. They just got cut.
I mean, possibly. And the way this was filmed, I think, is just amazing. Like, I think Brie Larson said when she filmed that opening scene, no one else is with. She had tape to look at and say her lines, but no one else is in the room. And they just got together.
Wait, what part are you talking about?
When they say, where have you been? And she's like, Yeah, that part. None of them were together, and they
But that
also
wasn't
had
in the
no
movie though.
and they had no context as to what was going on. That part wasn't in. But that whole scene where they're in the ship at that or wherever they were at that point, and how the movie was filmed in general, like you only got your lines and no one else's. No, the characters didn't know how the movie ended. I mean, it was pretty awesome.
But I mean, I'm excited to see where they go with everything.